So I can kick off really quickly what I was going to say, which is a surprise to the panel, but please don't be too shocked. All I wanted to say is that thank you, Diego, for having to take a meeting, which moved us to a different time, which now allows me to have a different introduction to what we're about to talk about because of what we just observed, right? We just observed a very dynamic situation, so complex, so many things going on. We've probably all been there at some point in our career. And now what? Adaptive. We adapted during those times, right? We did what we had to do, the after action reports, conversations, maybe feelings were hurt. Maybe some of our team members, might have to wear some of the bad decisions made, whatever that may look like. But now we come to our topic. And our topic is about balancing vigilance and recovery in a changing world where we are constantly dealing with adaptive leadership. And I'm going to kick off with my first question, which is going to be to Diego. Diego, in a 24/7 threat environment, how do you balance the need to stay vigilant with the need to disconnect and recharge?
No.
No? Enough?
Yeah.
Good? Okay. First, yes, I'm the guy who caused a bit of chaos in the agenda, asking to Alistair to swap the times with the people from the previous panel. Thank you very much. But just because I want to show what adaptive leadership looks like in practice. You're right.
Excellent.
Okay. So dealing with threats that never sleep is always a challenge. And the line between be alert and getting exhausted is very, very thin. If you ask me the same question a few years ago, probably I have other answers to give you. But now, learning with my experience, looking back to the things I've been done, I was just trying to be the best leader I can be. But now I understand, and I needed to let go some strange beliefs about leadership. I can share 2 or 3 with you. I have here, because I don't want to forget it, okay? The first belief was feeling that I needed to have all the answers. And in a complex world, demanding this from yourself, from myself, only will bring me frustration. That's happened. And now I understand and I learned that building a smart and functional teams is where the real strength is, building a smart team, hiring diversity, people with different ways of thinking, culture, and graduation. For example, my team today, I have a professional that study math, engineering, data. I have administrators, because now we try to find the answer together, and it makes our team big as today. The second belief was thinking that being online all the time makes me a great leader. But it just makes me a tired leader. Yeah. And the third, think that being strong means carrying everything by myself, take the pressure in silence. But it just slow down the team and take the team straight to the burnout. So I needed to let go of these beliefs to understand better my role as leader of a big team. The real turning point to me for finally disconnect was when I learned to ask for help, delegate with trust, and set limits. To delegate with trust, I need to step back and understand that I needed to hire better. And I learned from the Special Forces in Brazil, from my colleagues there, that the most profile that we're looking for to hire great professionals were self-learning and self-motivation.
Yes.
I don't need to say to you what hurts in you. I don't need to say to you why you need to pay some bills in the end of the month. You need to bring this from your home, from your beliefs, and self-learning, because of course I will teach you some things, but some things I need to learn from you. I need you to learn other things and teach me to building one team. So today, our 24/7 security operation works very well because I have people in my team that can make decisions with, like Chuck said, with accountability, and I can trust in them. So an exhausted leader can make mistakes, and mistakes in our field are expensive. So to protect the company, first, I must protect my mind. So this is it.
Oh, that's a lot.
Thank you.
Not just it. I really like the example of if you can pay your bills and you can make those decisions, and there's skills that we can teach, but some skills of just being able to ask for help, learn easily, collaborate, those are, if you can hire somebody who just comes to the table with that, you're already starting off well. Any comments from?
Well, I agree, Diego. I think those are such important points. And I wanted to ask the audience today, how many of you have heard, if you could just raise your hand, that we're all supposed to get 8 hours of sleep a night? And I want you to leave your hand up if you're actually getting 8 hours of sleep a night. And if you are, I want to talk to you on the break. But I do that to illustrate that I think we as security professionals know how we're supposed to be caring for ourselves, but sometimes we are the most resistant in actually taking those steps. Mm-hmm. And we have to remember that our teams are watching us, we're modeling to create the culture that we're working in. And I don't think we can ignore, there are so many statistics out there. If you just start to Google burnout statistics 2026, you'll see more than half of people, particularly in the United States, because I think a lot of these studies originate there, more than half of people are saying, I'm experiencing some type of burnout. More than half of respondents said, I'm in a job and I feel like I'm languishing. So like Diego said, it can be very expensive. There is a cost to the company and the business, and I think we just need to not vilify self-care for ourselves and then how we show up in our organizations.
Good point. Shall I move on, or did you want to?
No, I just want to comment that I think, Diego, I really like what you said, that the answer will be different 20 years ago and now. And it's pretty easy to, in our profession, to be in the trap of being the hero and being awake all the time. And for me, my self-conscience now has taken me to a place that I have these micro anchors. I call micro anchors. So these are very little things that I do for myself that I know that is going to be the difference in my day. So my first micro anchor is to have breakfast. So I need to start the day with protein. So I learned that if I don't have protein starting the day, all the day I will be in bad humor and everyone around me will suffer. So and at some point I am able to overcome this. I have to bring my food. I prepare my food, and I don't have any. I don't restrict. If we are in a meeting, even with my CEO, she knows that I need to eat.
That's good.
So I'm going to take 5 minutes, but those 5 minutes makes all the difference for all the decisions that I will take during the day. So my takeaway for you is think of those micro anchors that you need and that will make the difference for you and for the others around you.
I definitely have one. My micro anchor would be coffee. One coffee. Okay, next question. So this is for you, Lisa. What is one leadership non-negotiable that you have today that came from a lesson learned through burnout, pressure, or adversity? Because we didn't want to assume. So one or the other, all of them.
My non-negotiable would be to avoid glorifying a martyr's mindset.
Yep.
And I learned that firsthand, just to be vulnerable for a moment, as we talked about. I did experience burnout in a job many years ago. And this stemmed from one of the earliest conversations I had with a member of the C-suite. And we were talking about their opinion about security, their experience, their vision. And they said to me, I'm very experienced in security. I was getting calls and having to navigate and lead a potential response to a kidnapping just hours after I had given birth and I was still in the hospital bed. And it gave me pause, and I said to myself, uh-oh, because I think that mindset, the way that the story was told to me, it really was almost like a badge of honor to be, it equated that level of not taking time off or not having redundancies and having that organizational resilience in place, that equated to the being committed to the mission.
Yeah.
And so I think that put a lot of pressure. It just took me a long time then to figure out, okay, there were implications to my health that happened, and I'm sure you've heard the expression, you can pay now or you can pay later, but you'll always pay more later. And I feel like, in a way, when we think about our self-care, you can take care of yourself now or you can take care of yourself later, but often, if you wait too long, it can take a lot longer to recover. And so I would just say that that is a non-negotiable. I really try to instill that in the teams that I'm working with, and to look for organizations that don't glorify that mindset, but rather provide balance and boundaries that could keep your team operational and resilient the whole time that it's needed.
Yeah. Thank you. I couldn't agree more. And your team does look to you. They see you doing the whole martyr thing. They will follow, and then they will be off sick eventually because it's not sustainable. And in policing, we learned. I was a police officer for about 10 years in Toronto, and raising your hand and asking for help wasn't something you did. You could do it if you were a civilian. You could do it perhaps, but not in that role. So yeah, I had to unlearn that as well, and be okay with taking time. I just took a personal day the other day, and I did not answer my phone the whole day. So
That's great.
I'm getting better. Any comments or?
I would say that for me it's health and family first, and this is something that when someone new arrives to a team, I say that it's my commitment with you that your health and your family go first. We can take care of the job, and it is true that will be times when we need to give more and we need to be available. But I don't see a point that you miss your daughter graduation, or you are giving birth and you are not able to dedicate to that. And my second non-negotiable, I learned I was in 2 companies, the same business, logistics, and it was a break-in into a facility. And the answer from the CEO, the first question from the CEO for me, it was definitely a change, because the first one asked, how much money did we lose? And the second CEO asked, how are the people? So by then, having the chance to listen both, I said myself, this is the kind of company I am going to work no matter what, because it doesn't pay anything to myself, to my team, to the people, to the community, to work for a company or to work for a culture, because it's a culture that values more the business, the money, than the people.
And if we can't change the company model or the structure, because it came with how it came, at the very least, we can take care of our team. Yeah. Right? Did you want to say something?
Adding to what they said, I can share that my non-negotiable is very simple. It's about to have a great place to work. I'm not talking about the seal. I'm talking about to really have a great place to work, because if I see my worst moments of stress in the work, in my career. The environment makes me tired, you know? To have a good chair, good table. It's simple, but in Brazil it's very usual. You go to work and you don't have a space to work. And provide it to your team. Have a good coffee, have a good chair, good place to, you know? Because we stay in the office sometimes, in the field, more time than we stay in our home. So we need to have great experiences to live in the work. So it's very simple, but it's one non-negotiable to my team, and for me, it's very simple.
I remember your chair in our meetings. You mentioned the chair, how comfortable it was. Okay, question number 3. This is for you, Dora. Okay, are you using AI in your role today? And if so, how has it influenced the way that you lead?
Okay, so I have to admit that I live in 2 worlds. So the corporate side of me is really happy with AI. I use it every day. So we have this L'Oreal GPT that is great because it's connected. So when for example, I'm taking these days off, so I'm going to connect on Monday, and the first thing that I will do is to ask L'Oreal GPT, make a summary of the emails that I haven't read and prioritize them, and I will be happy. But my personal side is a freak on personal information. So I don't use AI for my personal life. So I'm still finding the way to combine those. But it really makes a difference in my corporate arena, makes a completely difference because I have the time to dedicate to what truly matters and take off this admin stuff that we don't like to do. And just an example, I just saw this week, I'm starting working with a new team, and this next gen started to take the minute directly on L'Oreal GPT, and she sent the minute like this and say, oh, I can do that. It would save a lot of time. So yeah, in the corporate, I think it is a huge difference. I need to find a way to include it in my personal life.
Have you, how's your team adapting to it? Have you had to do any training, or they already enjoy using it? Like, I'm just curious.
You know, the companies, we are a beauty tech company.
Right.
So they are investing a lot in the use of AI. Last week we had a global university. So we have every weekday we had a training for half an hour. So one day we talk about data privacy, the other day was about prompting, the other day, you know. So they're investing a lot. And my team, they are starting, especially for those on the field, they need to find how to use it, because they used to think that it is not for me. That is for marketing, that is for other business, but finance, but not for us. So they are enjoying finding the way how to use it.
That's good. No, for sure. That was a big thing. I'm like 3 months into my tenure at Canada Goose, and I started using Copilot, and I had to summarize 3 years of email communications on a vendor, and I literally just downloaded it and put it and said, tell me what's missing here, what was done, what wasn't. It was just like 30 seconds. I would have normally taken that home and just gone through each and every point, because I'm like a forensic mind. So I really am enjoying it. And I really love teaching my team to use it. Nobody was using it. And they're now like, oh my goodness, this is like, it saves us time, it makes us feel more confident in how we communicate. Because there's a lot of, we speak a certain way in security. I always say that, and it's okay when we're all talking together, but then now we've got to talk to, a business line or somebody in production or communications, and we want to be able to communicate more effectively and collaboratively And for me, Copilot has really helped with that.
Can I just add, Andrea, to what Dora was saying and how you're leveraging AI on your team? I think if we're talking about adaptive leadership, AI use, and we are utilizing it at Twilio, but one thing I've really leaned into is this idea of compassionate leadership, and that is care for the team and balancing that with your operational efficiency. And I think it also recognizes that there are hesitations, there are concerns. I was having a great conversation last night with Chris Stitt, and we were talking about how some teammates might be worried about being displaced by AI. Others might feel like they're missing out if we're not utilizing it enough. And so just keeping that in mind, trying to keep a mindset of building things, innovating, and being curious, and keeping that in a positive and efficient light for us has been something that we've really been trying to instill on the corporate safety and security team right now.
I love that. I love that curious component. That's always important. We have 59 seconds, so my last question is going to be, if you were to give the leaders here one takeaway, what would it be?
I can say that secure career is a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah.
So enjoy your running.
Yeah.
Of course, you need to pay attention with the guy in front of you, the guy beside you, don't drop. But if you have time to take advantage, take opportunity of the water stations to hydration, for example, and enjoying the sun, enjoying the cold rain, it's good. Because in the end of the day, we need to keep us safe and good to lead and manage our companies and ourselves first. That's it.
Thank you.
I loved what Bart Brown was saying earlier about the future of the profession and how to stay continuously developing. And I'd say, I think for the future, for people who want a longer-term career, staying agile, considering yourself a work in progress, and also paying attention to the trends. Again, if you look at numbers around and statistics around the next generation or Gen Z, 95% or more are very committed and want a balanced work and professional life. So you're going to have to adapt to that.
Brilliant.
My advice would be don't be afraid to ask for help and find a coach for your career and find your therapist, because both will be very important during your life.
I think my takeaway would be, accept where you are, and that it's like you said, not a sprint, a marathon, but also attend events like this. It's really changed so much for me. The first time I came, I was like, I could never be on the stage speaking. I said this to Danielle. And then, attending more events, I'm gonna forget the names of them, but GSX, ACES events, everybody's been to them. And just really communicating with everybody and growing and learning and having these similar conversations makes me feel good. And I want my team, who has not had this experience, to start doing things like this. And I think that's my takeaway, is to continue to attend events like this. It's good for me, and it'll be good for my team. Thank you.